Rama asked again, in that self which is pure consciousness, how does the mild disturbance arise? This is so-called mild disturbance is what gives rise to the world appearance. Vasishta replied, I am convinced, O Ram, that infinite consciousness alone is real, and that there is no disturbance at all in its nature. We use words like Brahman just for the sake of communication or instruction, not to raise notions of one and two. You, I, and all these things are pure Brahman. There is no ignorance at all. Awareness is pure, yet within awareness arises the stream of experiencing, and awareness gets hooked into it and creates notions and gets identified with them. But awareness, the unmodified, the pure awareness, can be turned to at any time. It can be realized at any time. So we can describe awareness as unmodified, as pure. We can describe it as limited. We can describe it as the stream of experiencing. We can describe it as infinite creativity. But from a spiritual point of view, we're interested in turning to pure awareness, like the whirling dervish who spins around on the spot. The world is spinning around him, and he's not getting dizzy. His attention is not focused on the spinning world, it's focused on itself. And that's the still centre, the eye of the storm. But the storm is not different from consciousness. It's the flow, the infinite creative flow of consciousness. And when we are in touch with the eye of the storm, we can venture safely into the storm. Wherever we are becomes the eye of the storm. You, I, and all these things are pure Brahman. There is no ignorance at all. Rama asked again, but at the end of the previous section you exhorted me to inquire into the nature of this ignorance. Vasishta replied, yes, at that time you were still not fully awakened. Such expressions as ignorance, jiva, etc. have been invented as aids to instructing the unawakened. One should use common sense and suitable aids. Apparently the word here is yukti, also commonly means trick. In Buddhism they're called skillful means. The Buddha used skillful means to awaken the seeker. One should use common sense and suitable aids before imparting the knowledge of the truth. So there's awakening, and then there's knowledge of the truth. And knowledge of the truth is a way of expressing the awakening. Because if you haven't got this way of expressing it, you won't have any way of coming to terms with awakening. You might think you've gone mad, or you're experiencing demons, or you're losing the plot or something. If one declares all this is Brahman to an unawakened person, it is like a man petitioning a tree for relief from his suffering. In other words, you're not going to get a response on the level that it's intended. It is by suitable aids that the unawakened is awakened. The awakened is enlightened by the truth. So there seems to be a distinction here between awakening and enlightening, between awakening and enlightenment. You wake up and then there's appreciation of what's happened. This is enlightenment. Enlightenment is acknowledgement, appreciation, celebration even of what's happened. Thus, now that you are awakened, I declare the truth to you. You are Brahman. I am Brahman. The whole universe is Brahman. Whatever you are doing, realize this truth at all times. Venture out into the storm, but always be in the eye of the storm. This Brahman, or the Self alone, is the reality in all beings, even as clay is the real substance in thousands of pots. And this is what we can do. This is part of the spiritual practice. Realizing that everything that is going on is it's like consciousness saying hello. It's all Brahman saying hello. I'm here. Wiki wiki. Even as wind and its movement are non-different, consciousness and its internal movement, energy, which causes all these manifestations, are non-different. It is the seed of notion falling on the soil of consciousness that gives rise to apparent diversity. If it does not so fall, mind does not so sprout. So you've got the seed of notions falling on the soil of consciousness. And we must remember that this seed actually comes from the soil originally as well. But we can not nourish these seeds. These notions are what limit us. They're what cause us dizziness, existential dizziness, and despair even, and nausea. So not letting the seed fall means not feeding them, not buying into them, not buying into the notions.